The Texas sun hung low in the sky, painting the horizon gold as it dipped behind a quiet, weathered auto repair shop on the edge of Austin. Inside, James, a single father in his late 30s, wiped the sweat from his brow. The scent of oil and dust hanging in the air. His shop wasn't much, just a tin roof, a few rusted tools, and an old Coca-Cola fridge that hummed louder than the radio. But to James, it was everything. Every bolt, every dent, every drop of sweat was for his 8-year-old daughter, Sophie, his world, since the day her mother passed 3 years ago. Each evening, Sophie would sit on a stack of tires, legs swinging as she read storybooks under the dim light. It wasn't an easy life, but together, they found happiness in the smallest moments, laughter, hard work, and the smell of engine grease. One Thursday evening, just as James was about to close up, the sound of a coughing engine echoed from the driveway. He looked up to see an old sedan sputter to a stop. The door creaked open, and out stepped a young woman, maybe mid-20s, wearing an oversized sweater and exhaustion on her face. She looked defeated, eyes swollen as if she'd been crying. Before she could speak, James walked over with a calm, reassuring smile. "Trouble with your car, ma'am?" he asked gently. She sighed, embarrassed. "I don't know what happened. I need to get to my night shift, but I can't afford a mechanic or a tow." James nodded, no judgment in his eyes. "Let's take a look." Kneeling beside the car, he popped the hood. Sophie peeked from the doorway, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. A few minutes later, James found the problem, a cracked radiator hose and a few loose wires. "Don't worry," he said kindly. "You're in good hands." Her eyes filled with tears. "I can't pay you right now. I barely make rent." James smiled softly. "I didn't ask about money. I asked about your car." Those simple words broke through her walls. She watched silently as James worked, with Sophie holding a flashlight like the world's tiniest assistant. Within the hour, the engine purred to life. She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to thank you." James just handed her the keys and said, "Drive safe. Take care of yourself." She tried to insist on paying something, anything, but he refused. "Kindness doesn't come with a bill," he said with a wink. As she drove off, Sophie tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, why did you help her for free?" James smiled and knelt beside her. "Because sometimes, sweetheart, people just need a hand, not a price tag." That night, as they ate their simple dinner of sandwiches and chips, James felt a warmth in his chest. Not from the food, but from knowing he did the right thing. Days turned into weeks. Life went back to normal, or so he thought. Then, one sunny Saturday morning, as James sipped his coffee and Sophie played on the floor, the distant sound of engines filled the air. But this time, it wasn't a broken-down car, it was a convoy. Down the dusty road came luxury cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, one after another, shimmering under the Texas sun. James blinked in disbelief as they pulled into his little shop. From the front car stepped a familiar face, the young woman he had helped weeks ago. Only now, she looked completely different, confident, elegant, successful. "Good morning," she said, smiling. "I never got to introduce myself properly. I'm Emily. I run a luxury car rental business in Dallas." James stood frozen as she continued. "That night, your kindness reminded me what real decency looks like. I told my clients about you, people who value honesty and heart. And now, here they are." One by one, her clients approached, shaking James' hand and asking for his services. Emily had shared his story online, the simple act of kindness that had gone viral overnight. The world had fallen in love with the mechanic who said, "Sometimes people just need a hand, not a bill." Soon, cameras arrived. Neighbors gathered. His once quiet shop turned into a lively scene of laughter, gratitude, and opportunity. Sophie proudly handed out water bottles to guests. Beaming, "That's my dad," she said to anyone who'd listen. For the first time in years, James didn't have to worry about the next bill. What started as a small act of kindness had turned into something far bigger than he ever imagined. Before leaving, Emily took his hand and said, "I want to partner with you, James. Let's build something real, a place where honesty and compassion still matter." James looked at Sophie and nodded, emotion welling in his eyes. That night, as the sunset painted the Texas sky and Sophie rested her head on his shoulder, James smiled quietly. Every long night, every struggle, every act of faith had led to this moment. He realized something powerful: when you give without expecting, life has a way of giving back in ways you never see coming. Pure Kindness Hub, where every story reminds us that a single act of kindness can change the world.